The diamond caught the morning light, scattering tiny rainbows across my kitchen wall. 3 carats of promises, memories, and sacrifice, all about to slip through my fingers. Again. My name is Lana, and I was about to sell my engagement ring to fund my brother's college education. The same ring I'd spent 2 years paying off after Marcus died because I couldn't bear to part with it then. But Tyler's acceptance letter to NYU changed everything. My phone buzzed, interrupting my moment of reflection. Jordan's name flashed on the screen. "Have you seen Tyler's Instagram?" she asked without preamble. "You know I don't follow social media much these days," I replied, still staring at the ring. "Why?" "Girl, you need to look. Now." I pulled up Instagram while keeping Jordan on the line. There was Tyler, my baby brother, lounging in what looked like a high-end New York club, surrounded by bottles of champagne and designer shopping bags. "That's from last night," Jordan said softly. "Lana, isn't he supposed to be studying?" My throat tightened. "He is. He's probably just celebrating something. Midterms, maybe? With Cristal? In the VIP section of Lavo? That's not exactly ramen noodle budget territory." I thought back to 6 months ago, sitting across from Tyler at our mom's worn kitchen table. His hands had trembled as he showed me the acceptance letter. "I can't ask Mom for this kind of money," he'd said, voice cracking. "She's already working 2 jobs." "Let me worry about it," I'd told him, already touching the ring on my finger. "You just focus on studying." Now, looking at the photo, something cold settled in my stomach. I should call him. "It's only 9 there," Jordan said. "He's probably still asleep after that party." I dialed anyway. It went straight to voicemail. "Hey Ty, just checking in. Call me when you can." My mother's voice startled me from the doorway. "Everything okay, honey?" I quickly closed Instagram. "Mom, I thought you were at work." Double shift got canceled. She walked over and hugged me from behind, then froze when she saw the ring on the counter. "Oh, Lana." "It's fine, Mom. Really." "No, it's not fine. That ring meant everything to you. Marcus would have wanted Tyler to have a chance," I cut her off. "Besides, it's just sitting in my jewelry box most days." Mom's eyes welled up. "You've always taken care of everyone else. Even after Marcus. You never let yourself grieve properly, always making sure Tyler and I were okay." My phone buzzed again. A text from Tyler. "Can't talk now. In class. Love you." I checked the time in New York. 9:15 a.m. According to the schedule he'd sent me, his first class wasn't until 11. "I need to go to New York," I said suddenly. Mom's eyebrows shot up. "What? Why?" "To surprise Tyler. See how he's settling in." I picked up the ring, its weight suddenly foreign in my hand. "And to visit a jewelry appraiser I found online. They're offering the best price." "At least let me help with the plane ticket," Mom started, but I shook my head. "You need to save for retirement. I've got this." I slipped the ring into my pocket. "Besides, it'll be good to see Tyler. Make sure he's adjusting well." Jordan, still on the phone, cleared her throat. "Want me to come with you?" "No, but thanks. This is something I need to do alone." After hanging up, I booked the cheapest flight I could find for the next day. As I packed my overnight bag, more notifications from Tyler's Instagram popped up. Designer watches, rooftop parties, a new apartment in Manhattan that definitely wasn't student housing. My hand brushed against the ring in my pocket. 3 carats of sacrifice, meant to be his ticket to a better life through education. Instead, it seemed to be funding something else entirely. The last photo stopped me cold. Tyler, arm around a glamorous blonde, both holding up glasses of champagne. The caption read, "Living my best life. Thanks to my amazing sister for making all this possible. Blessed NYC or luxury life." My fingers trembled as I dialed Professor Brown's number, Tyler's former mentor from his community college days, the one person who might help me understand what was really going on. "Lana?" his familiar voice answered. "This is unexpected." "Professor Brown, I need your help. It's about Tyler." "Ah," he said, his tone shifting. "I was wondering when you'd call." The Uber dropped me off in front of a gleaming high-rise in Manhattan's Upper East Side. Not exactly the student housing address Tyler had given me. I double-checked the location I'd tracked his phone to. Definitely here. Can I help you? The doorman eyed my travel-worn appearance suspiciously. I'm here to see Tyler. Apartment 1507. Mr. Holmes? He raised an eyebrow. And you are? His sister. His demeanor changed instantly. Oh, Miss Lana, Mr. Tyler has mentioned you. Please, go right up. The elevator ride gave me time to process the luxury surrounding me. Marble floors, crystal chandeliers, a monthly rent that probably cost more than I made in half a year. I knocked on 1507. Music thumped from inside, along with laughter and the clink of glasses. It was 2 p.m. on a Wednesday. The door swung open. A tall blonde in designer clothes looked me up and down. Can I help you? I'm looking for Tyler. Oh my God, are you Lana? She squealed, pulling me into an unexpected hug. I'm Chelsea. Tyler talks about you constantly. Come in, come in. The apartment was straight out of a magazine. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooked Central Park. Modern art adorned the walls. Empty champagne bottles decorated every surface. Tyler emerged from what looked like a home theater room, followed by 3 other people dressed like they'd just stepped off a runway. Lana? His face went pale. What are you... why didn't you tell me you were coming? Surprise, I said flatly. Chelsea clapped her hands. This is perfect. We were just celebrating Tyler's new investment portfolio. He's such a financial genius. Investment portfolio? I turned to Tyler. What about your classes? The room went quiet. Tyler's friends exchanged glances. Maybe we should give them some privacy, Chelsea suggested, ushering everyone toward the door. Once alone, Tyler's confident facade crumbled slightly. Look, I can explain. Please do. I pulled out my phone, showing him his class schedule. Because according to this, you should be in Economics 101 right now. I dropped that class. It was too basic for what I'm doing now. And what exactly are you doing now? He gestured around the apartment. Living my potential. I've made connections here, Lana. Real opportunities. College is for people who need a safety net. I'm already making more than any entry-level graduate. With what money, Tyler? He wouldn't meet my eyes. I took the tuition money and invested it. Made some smart plays in crypto, got into some exclusive trading groups. You took the money from my engagement ring and gambled with it? It wasn't gambling. I tripled the investment in 2 months. I walked to his bedroom door, pushed it open. Designer clothes everywhere. A watch collection worth more than our mother's house. Bank statements scattered across his desk. Mom's working double shifts, I said quietly, picking up a statement. I sold the last piece of Marcus I had left, and you're buying Gucci loafers? You don't understand how it works here, Tyler protested. Image is everything. I had to look the part to get into the right circles, and it worked. I'm making real money now. Show me your class schedule, your actual one. He hesitated. I'm taking a gap semester just until... Until what? Until you lose everything on a bad trade? Until this fantasy life comes crashing down? It's not a fantasy. God, you're just like Mom, stuck in that small-town mindset where everyone has to follow the same safe, boring path. The words hit like a slap. I thought of all the nights I'd stayed up with him, helping with homework. The pride in his voice when he'd gotten into NYU. The brother I thought I knew. You're right, I said, my voice steady despite the trembling in my hands. I am like Mom. We both believed in you. I turned to leave, but his voice stopped me. Lana, wait. I'll pay you back for the ring, with interest, once this next investment pays off. It's not about the money, Tyler. I met his eyes. It's about trust and responsibility. 2 things I thought I taught you. I am being responsible. I'm securing my future. No, I said quietly. You're running from it. As I walked out, Chelsea was waiting in the hallway. Is everything okay? Tyler's been so stressed lately about the trades not performing. I cut her off. How much has he lost? She blinked. Lost? The investments. How much? I'm not supposed to say, but last week was pretty bad. He said he just needs another month to turn it around. I nodded, pulled out my phone, and dialed Professor Brown again. I'm in New York, I said when he answered. And you were right about everything. Let's talk about that scholarship program you mentioned. Professor Brown's office at Columbia University felt like stepping into another world. Books lined every wall, and the afternoon sun cast long shadows through the tall windows. He hadn't changed much since I'd last seen him at Tyler's community college graduation. Same salt and pepper beard, same thoughtful eyes behind wire-rimmed glasses. "Coffee?" he offered, gesturing to a French press on his desk. "I need something stronger after what I just saw." He smiled sadly. "Tyler's new lifestyle isn't quite what you expected?" "Did you know?" I leaned forward. "About him dropping out?" "He didn't exactly drop out, he just stopped showing up." Professor Brown poured 2 cups of coffee anyway. "Started missing classes about 2 months ago. When I reached out, he told me he'd found a better opportunity." "Crypto trading," I said bitterly, "and some investment scheme he won't explain properly." "Ah, yes, the siren song of quick money." He took a sip of coffee. "You know, Tyler was one of my most promising students back at the community college. Brilliant mind for economics when he applied himself. What happened? New York happened. Or rather, the idea of New York he'd built up in his head." Professor Brown pulled out a folder. He started following these self-styled finance gurus on social media. Became obsessed with their lifestyles, the cars, the clothes, the instant wealth. And now he's living it, with my money. Not for long, from what I hear. The crypto market's been volatile. Several of these exclusive trading groups have turned out to be elaborate scams. I buried my face in my hands. I should have known, should have checked on him sooner. You're here now. He slid the folder across his desk. And I think I have a solution that might benefit everyone. Inside was a detailed proposal for a scholarship program. Full ride, including housing and expenses. The catch? An intensive community service requirement and mandatory financial literacy courses. "The Redemption Scholarship," I read aloud, "officially sponsored by Columbia's economics department. Very prestigious, very selective." His eyes twinkled. "And completely tailored to one specific candidate. You created this just for Tyler?" "Let's say I had a feeling it might be needed. The community service portion is run through local shelters and financial literacy programs, teaching basic budgeting to people who've hit hard times." The irony wasn't lost on me. "And you think he'll go for it?" "Right now, Tyler's running out of options. Those trading losses Chelsea mentioned, they're significant. He's burning through money faster than he can make it." My phone buzzed. A text from Tyler. "I'm sorry about earlier. Can we talk?" "He's reaching out," I showed Professor Brown the message. "Perfect timing. The scholarship application deadline is next week." He handed me another document. "Here's the press release we'll be sending to all local universities. Make sure it finds its way to him. Won't he suspect something when he's the only applicant?" "Oh, there will be other applicants, all carefully selected to be either underqualified or unavailable. The selection committee, which includes me, will ensure the right candidate is chosen." I studied the requirements. 20 hours per week of community service, mandatory financial counseling, regular progress reports. This feels manipulative. Sometimes people need a structured path back to reality. Professor Brown's voice softened. "Tyler's not the first student I've seen get seduced by the promise of easy money, but he might be one of the few I can still help." My phone buzzed again. "Tyler, please, I messed up. I need your help." "If he finds out we orchestrated this, then he'll learn another valuable lesson about consequences and caring family members." Professor Brown stood, walking to his window. "You know, I had a brother like Tyler. Brilliant, charismatic, always chasing the next big thing. I tried to help him the gentle way. Know where he is now?" I shook my head. "Neither do I. Haven't heard from him in 15 years. He turned back to me. "Sometimes tough love is the only love that works." I picked up the scholarship documents, feeling their weight in more ways than one. "When do we start?" "I'll have my assistant send out the press release tomorrow. Make sure Tyler sees it. Let him think it's his idea to apply." As I stood to leave, Professor Brown added, "Lana, this won't be easy. He might resist, might even hate you for a while when he realizes the truth. He already resents me for being small-town minded, I replied. At least this way, that resentment might save his future. I pulled out my phone to reply to Tyler. Meet me for coffee tomorrow. I think I found a way to help, a legitimate way. His response came quickly. Thank you. I love you, sis. I stared at those words, remembering the little brother who used to mean them without reservation. I love you too, I typed back. More than you know. The coffee shop near Washington Square Park buzzed with morning energy. Tyler arrived 15 minutes late, designer sunglasses hiding what I suspected were hungover eyes. Sorry, he mumbled, sliding into the seat across from me. Rough night. Another celebration? He winced. Actually, no. Had to liquidate some positions. Market's been challenging. I pushed my phone across the table, the scholarship announcement displayed on the screen. Found this morning. Thought of you. His eyes scanned the text, widening slightly. Full ride at Columbia, with housing? Prestigious, too, only accepting 5 students. I stirred my coffee casually. Professor Brown's on the selection committee. Eric? Tyler sat up straighter. I haven't talked to him since you ghosted his classes? He had the decency to look embarrassed. Yeah, that. The deadline's next week. Requirements are pretty intense, though. Tyler was already scrolling through the details. Community service component, financial literacy certification, weekly progress reports. He frowned. Seems like a lot of hand-holding. It's free money, Ty. Legitimate free money. His phone buzzed. He glanced at it, face paling slightly. I need to make a call. Give me a minute. I watched through the window as he paced outside, gesturing animatedly. When he returned, his hands were shaking. Everything okay? Just some investment stuff. He grabbed my coffee, took a long sip. About that scholarship? You really think I have a shot? Professor Brown always said you were one of his best students. Yeah, He trailed off, then pulled out his phone again, this time showing me his trading account. Red numbers filled the screen. I might need a backup plan anyway. How bad is it? Remember that crypto rally last month? I borrowed against my positions to increase exposure, but then the market reversed and... In English, Tyler. He slumped in his chair. I lost everything, more than everything. I'm in debt, bad debt. The kind of debt that has people making threatening phone calls? His silence was answer enough. Apply for the scholarship, I said firmly. Today, now. The community service thing, though, 20 hours a week? When would I have time to trade? Maybe that's the point, to focus on your actual future instead of gambling it away. It's not gambling, he protested, but without his usual conviction. It's calculated risk. How's that working out for you? His phone buzzed again. This time I caught a glimpse of the message. Payment due in 48 hours, or we'll have to take alternative measures. Give me your phone, I said. What? Why? Because you're going to call Professor Brown right now and apologize. Then you're going to ask him about this scholarship personally. Lana, phone now. He handed it over reluctantly. I dialed Professor Brown's number, put it on speaker. Tyler? Professor Brown's voice filled our corner of the cafe. This is unexpected. Professor, Tyler looked at me helplessly. I nodded encouragingly. I messed up, really badly. I'm aware. I saw the scholarship announcement, the redemption scholarship. I know I don't deserve it, after how I left things, but you'd like to apply? Yes, sir, if you'll let me. There was a long pause. The community service component is non-negotiable, as are the financial literacy courses. I understand. And you'll need to maintain a full course load, no more disappearing acts. Yes, sir. Come by my office this afternoon. We'll discuss the details. Another pause. And, Tyler, I'm glad you called. After hanging up, Tyler stared at his empty coffee cup. What if I fail again? Then you fail trying to do something real, instead of failing at get-rich-quick schemes. His phone buzzed once more. This time he turned it off completely. The apartment, he said quietly. The clothes, everything. I'll have to give it all up. The scholarship includes housing, remember? Chelsea won't understand. If she doesn't understand you choosing education over debt, then maybe that's important information too. He nodded slowly, then pulled out his laptop. Help me with the application? I watched as he typed his personal statement, deleting and rewriting sentences, occasionally asking my opinion. For a moment, I saw the old Tyler, the one who used to get excited about economics textbooks and market theory. Lana, he said, not looking up from his screen. Thank you for not giving up on me. I thought about the ring, about Professor Brown's carefully crafted plan, about the web of well-intentioned deception we'd spun around my brother. That's what family does, I replied, and prayed he'd still feel the same way when he eventually discovered the truth. I got it. Tyler's voice exploded through my phone. I actually got it. The scholarship committee just called. I pressed my phone closer to my ear, trying to sound surprised. That's amazing. When do you start? Next week. They're fast-tracking everything because of my situation. His voice dropped slightly. Chelsea left, by the way. Said she didn't sign up for dating a charity case. Her loss. Yeah. He paused. Hey, can you come to my first day at the shelter? The community service part starts tomorrow, and I'm kind of nervous. That wasn't part of the plan. I glanced at the calendar on my wall, at my work schedule. I'll be there. The next morning, I found Tyler standing outside the downtown community center, wearing the only non-designer outfit he had left, jeans and a plain black t-shirt. He looked younger somehow, more vulnerable. Ready? I asked. What if I'm terrible at this? He gestured at the building. I don't know how to help people? I finished for him. Pretty sure that's why they call it learning. Inside, we were greeted by a woman named Maria, the volunteer coordinator. Her eyes crinkled with warmth, but there was steel in her handshake. Tyler, our new scholarship recipient. She looked him over. Perfect timing. We're short-staffed in the financial literacy workshop today. Tyler froze. Workshop? I thought I'd be serving food or something. Oh, you'll do that too. But Professor Brown mentioned your economics background. We have people here who need help understanding basic budgeting, debt management, predatory lending. I couldn't help but smile at the irony. Tyler shot me a look that said he caught it too. First group starts in 10 minutes, Maria continued, handing him a folder. Just share what you've learned, especially about what not to do. The classroom was small, filled with about 15 people. Some wore business clothes, others looked like they'd slept rough. All had the same worried look in their eyes that I'd seen in Tyler's lately. Hi, Tyler started awkwardly. I'm Tyler. I'm here to talk about financial responsibility. He laughed nervously, which is kind of funny because 2 weeks ago I lost everything in crypto trading and almost got involved with loan sharks. The room went silent. Then a man in the back spoke up. How much did you lose? Tyler swallowed hard. Everything my sister sacrificed to give me, and then some. What happened? Someone else asked. I thought I was smarter than everyone else. Thought I'd found a shortcut. Tyler's voice grew stronger. Want to know what I learned instead? For the next hour, I watched my brother transform. He broke down complex financial terms into simple language, used his own mistakes as cautionary tales, and actually listened to people's stories. The former investment bros' swagger was gone, replaced by something more genuine. During the break, Maria appeared beside me. He's a natural. He is, isn't he? I blinked back unexpected tears. Professor Brown said this might happen. Said sometimes teaching others helps us learn our own lessons. After the workshop, Tyler was surrounded by participants asking questions, sharing stories. One woman was crying as she thanked him for helping her understand her debt consolidation options. Tyler joined me later, looking dazed. That was intense. Good intense or bad intense? Good. Really good. He ran a hand through his hair. You know what's crazy? Everything I taught them today, about impulse control, about not trusting get-rich-quick schemes, it's all stuff I used to know, before New York made me forget. My phone buzzed with a text from Professor Brown. "How's it going?" "Those people in there," Tyler continued, "they're just like me, trying to fix their mistakes, trying to find their way back." I typed back, "Better than we hoped." "Lana," Tyler's voice was quiet, "I found something in the scholarship paperwork about the selection process." My heart stopped. "Oh?" "Yeah, apparently I was the only applicant who met all the criteria exactly. Almost like," he looked at me carefully, "almost like it was designed for me specifically." I held my breath, waiting for the anger, the accusation. Instead, he hugged me. "Thank you," he whispered, "for not just writing me off, for finding a way to help me help myself." "You knew?" "I figured it out last night. The timing, Professor Brown's involvement, the specific requirements." He pulled back, smiling slightly. "You've always been terrible at subtle. Are you mad?" I was, for about 5 minutes. Then I realized something. He gestured toward the classroom. "Sometimes the best revenge isn't punishment. Sometimes it's giving someone the chance to remember who they really are." I thought about the ring, about all the anger that had driven my initial plan for revenge. Somehow, watching Tyler connect with people who needed his help had transformed that anger into something else, something better. "Ready for tomorrow's session?" I asked. "Actually," he grinned, "I have some ideas for improving the program." "You can't just give up." Chelsea's voice echoed through the community center hallway. "This isn't you, Tyler." I rounded the corner to find them facing off near the classroom, where Tyler was supposed to be teaching his financial literacy workshop in 5 minutes. Chelsea looked exactly as she had in the luxury apartment, designer everything, but Tyler stood his ground in his now familiar jeans and t-shirt. "Actually, this is me," he said quietly. "The other guy, the one throwing money around and making crazy promises, that was the fake version. The fake version could afford me." Several heads poked out of the classroom, drawn by the commotion. I recognized some of Tyler's regular students, including Maria, who started to move toward them. "I've got this," I told her softly. Chelsea spotted me. "Oh, perfect, the puppet master herself. Did you enjoy destroying your brother's future?" "My future's fine," Tyler cut in. "Better than fine. I'm back in school, my grades are great, and I'm actually helping people." "You're working in a homeless shelter." "Community center," Tyler corrected. "Teaching financial literacy to people who need it. You know, like I needed it 2 months ago when I was about to lose everything." "But what about us? Our plans?" "Your plans," Tyler said. "Your vision of what my life should look like." "I never wanted the penthouse or the yacht parties. I just thought I needed them to keep you." I watched my brother, seeing how straight he stood now, how clear his eyes were. No more designer sunglasses hiding hangovers. "Miss," a small voice interrupted. An elderly woman from Tyler's class approached Chelsea. "Are you the girlfriend he told us about? The one who helped him spend all that borrowed money?" Chelsea's face reddened. "I didn't make him do anything." "No, but you sure enjoyed the benefits," Tyler said. "Where were you when the debt collector started calling?" "I'm not having this conversation here." Chelsea straightened her Gucci bag. "When you come to your senses, call me. The real you knows where to find me." "The real me is standing right here," Tyler called after her retreating form. "Teaching starts in 2 minutes if you want to learn something." She didn't turn back. Tyler slumped against the wall once she was gone. "Well, that happened. You okay?" "Weirdly? Yeah." He straightened up, checking his notes. "Today's lesson is actually about emotional spending and toxic financial relationships. How's that for timing?" Inside the classroom, his students were waiting. Over the past few weeks, the group had grown. Word had spread about the young former trader who taught finance through brutal honesty about his own mistakes. "Sorry about that scene," Tyler addressed the room. "Though it does lead perfectly into today's topic, how our relationships affect our financial decisions." "Was that really your ex?" someone asked. "Yep. And a perfect example of what we're discussing." Tyler grabbed a marker, wrote "financial red flags in relationships" on the whiteboard. Let's talk about warning signs I completely missed while trying to live up to someone else's expectations. For the next hour, I watched from the back as Tyler transformed his fresh heartbreak into a powerful lesson. He broke down how toxic relationships can lead to toxic finances, using his own story as a case study. The class was more engaged than ever, sharing their own experiences, asking questions. Remember, Tyler concluded, true support isn't about enabling harmful behaviors. Sometimes real love means calling someone out on their mistakes, or even setting up an elaborate scholarship scheme to save them from themselves. The class laughed, several people glancing my way. Speaking of which, he continued, I have an announcement. Professor Brown has approved my proposal to expand this program. Starting next month, we'll be offering evening classes for working people and a weekend workshop for teens. The room erupted in applause. Maria, who had slipped in during the lesson, beamed from her corner. After class, Tyler was surrounded by his usual crowd of people asking questions and sharing stories. I overheard him telling one young man, Trust me, if I can turn it around, anyone can. Hey, sis, he caught up with me later. Want to grab coffee? I need your help with something. At the coffee shop, he pulled out a familiar folder, his scholarship paperwork. So I've been thinking, he said, flipping through pages. This redemption scholarship, other people could benefit from it too. Not just spoiled little brothers who lose their sister's engagement ring money. What are you suggesting? I want to make it real. Not just our elaborate revenge scheme, but an actual ongoing program. His eyes lit up with the same enthusiasm he used to show for trading. Professor Brown's already on board. We just need to figure out the funding. Tyler, I know, no get-rich-quick schemes. He grinned. But what about get other people on track slow schemes? I've got some ideas. Looking at him then, I realized our revenge plan had backfired in the best possible way. Instead of just teaching Tyler a lesson, we'd given him a purpose. Mom's going to kill us both, Tyler said, pacing Professor Brown's office. She's flying in tomorrow for the ceremony, and we still haven't told her anything. Told her what? I looked up from the scholarship program brochures we'd been reviewing. That her son is graduating with honors? That he's turned the community center program into a success story? That this whole thing was an elaborate setup? He ran his hands through his hair. That her children conspired to manipulate. To save, Professor Brown interrupted, not looking up from his desk. The word you're looking for is save. A knock at the door made us all jump. Maria entered, carrying a stack of papers. Latest numbers from the center, she announced. We've helped 37 people avoid bankruptcy this month alone. 15 have started savings accounts. And that teenage program Tyler started? 3 of them just got college acceptance letters. Tyler stopped pacing. Really? Which ones? Marcus, Jenna, and that quiet kid? David? The one who reminded you of yourself? I watched my brother's face light up. 6 months ago, he'd been the one needing help. Now he was changing lives. See? I said. That's what we're telling Mom. Speaking of mothers, Professor Brown finally looked up. Yours is currently in the reception area. What? Tyler and I said in unison. She arrived early, wanted to surprise you. He pressed his intercom. Send her in, please. Mom walked in, looking exactly like she had the day I'd told her I was selling my ring, worried but trying to hide it. She hugged Tyler first, then me. I thought I'd come see where all the magic happens, she said, looking around the office. Then she spotted the brochures on the table. The Redemption Scholarship? That's the one you got, right, Tyler? Tyler shot me a panicked look. Mrs. Holmes, Professor Brown stood. Please, sit down. There's something we should discuss. Over the next 20 minutes, we told her everything. The Instagram posts that had tipped me off. The gambling losses. The fake scholarship designed specifically for Tyler. With each revelation, her face grew more serious. When we finished, the silence was deafening. Mom, Tyler's voice cracked. Say something. She turned to Professor Brown. This scholarship, it wasn't real. The money was real. The opportunity was real. The competition, he smiled slightly, was carefully curated. And you knew about this? She looked at me. I helped plan it. I admitted. I was so angry about the ring money, about Tyler throwing away his chance. I wanted revenge, but then it turned into something else. Show her, Tyler said suddenly. Show me what? Tyler pulled up a video on his phone. It was from last week's graduation ceremony at the community center. 15 people receiving certificates from the financial literacy program. Tyler beaming as he handed them out. These people, he explained, they all have stories like mine. Bad decisions, wrong turns, but they're turning it around. He swallowed hard. Because of what you taught me, Mom, about not giving up on people, about how sometimes love looks like tough choices. Mom's eyes welled up. And the ring money? I reached into my bag, pulled out an envelope. This is from Tyler's first teaching stipend at the center. It's not the full amount yet, but I'm paying her back, Tyler cut in. Every penny. And then we're using the rest to fund real scholarships for people who need second chances. Mom was quiet for a long moment. Then she started laughing. Mom? I exchanged worried looks with Tyler. I'm sorry, she wiped her eyes. It's just... Do you remember when you two were little? How you'd always scheme together? Build elaborate traps for the tooth fairy? This was a little bigger than the tooth fairy, Mom, Tyler said. But the result is the same. She stood, hugging us both. You worked together to create something good, even if the method was unconventional. So you're not mad? I asked. Mad? My son is graduating with honors, teaching others, and my daughter... She touched my cheek. You turned revenge into redemption. How could I be mad about that? Professor Brown cleared his throat. If I might interrupt this lovely moment, Tyler, you have a class to teach, and there's someone special waiting to enroll. We all turned to see Chelsea in the doorway, looking very different from the last time I'd seen her. No designer clothes, no perfect makeup. She shifted uncomfortably. I lost everything in that last crypto crash. Turns out I needed those lessons too. Tyler looked at me, then at Mom, then back at Chelsea. Class starts in 10 minutes, he said professionally. We have a strict policy about being on time. As Chelsea hurried off, Mom squeezed both our hands. Now, about tomorrow's graduation ceremony. Actually, Tyler grinned, there's one more surprise we haven't told you about. The graduation hall buzzed with excitement as Professor Brown approached the podium. Mom squeezed my hand as we sat in the front row, watching Tyler fidget with his graduation cap backstage. Today, Professor Brown began, we celebrate not just academic achievement, but personal transformation. Our valedictorian embodies the spirit of redemption, of turning mistakes into stepping stones. I spotted Chelsea in the back row, now one of Tyler's most dedicated students at the community center. She caught my eye and nodded slightly. But before we hear from him, Professor Brown continued, there's a special announcement. The Redemption Scholarship, which began as a unique intervention for one student, has received full funding for the next 5 years. Murmurs rippled through the crowd. Tyler's head snapped up. Thanks to a generous donation from an anonymous benefactor, Professor Brown's eyes met mine, we will offer 5 full scholarships annually to students who demonstrate both academic potential and a commitment to community service. Mom turned to me. Anonymous benefactor? I touched my ring finger, now bare but somehow feeling lighter than it had in years. The jewelry appraiser finally found the right buyer, for twice what we expected. Lana? The money was always meant for education, I said. Now it'll help more people than just Tyler. Professor Brown gestured to the side stage. And now, our valedictorian, Tyler Holmes. Tyler stepped up to the podium, looking nothing like the lost boy from that Manhattan apartment. His speech cards trembled slightly as he set them down. When I first came to New York, he started, I thought success meant fancy apartments and expensive clothes. I confused wealth with worth. He paused, finding my eyes in the crowd. My sister taught me differently, through a scheme that probably broke several laws of sibling ethics. Laughter rippled through the audience. But here's what I learned. Sometimes the people who love you most will go to extreme lengths to save you from yourself. And sometimes, the revenge they plan turns into the redemption you need. He pulled something from his pocket, a small velvet box. My breath caught. In this box is a ring, not the original one my sister sacrificed for me. That ring is now funding futures for others who need second chances. This is a different ring, a smaller one, bought with my first real paycheck from teaching. He opened the box, revealing a simple silver band with a small diamond. This ring represents my promise, not just to my sister, but to everyone who believes in second chances. A promise to keep teaching, to keep learning, and to remember that true worth isn't in what we have, but in what we give back. He stepped down from the podium, walked to where I sat, and held out the box. "I can't replace what you lost," he said softly, "but I can honor what you taught me." Through tears, I saw Mom pulling out her phone, recording everything. Professor Brown was beaming. Even Chelsea was wiping her eyes. "You know this doesn't make us even," I managed to say as I took the box. "I know." Tyler grinned. "That's why I also registered for a lifetime of Big Brother duties at the community center. Maria's already got me scheduled through next summer." Professor Brown returned to the podium. "And now I'm pleased to introduce our first official class of Redemption Scholars." 5 students stood up throughout the audience, including David, the quiet kid who reminded Tyler of himself. Each of them had a story of failure and recovery. Each of them had found their way to Tyler's financial literacy classes. "Sometimes revenge backfires," I whispered to Mom as Tyler returned to his seat among the graduates. "In the best possible way." "It wasn't revenge," she whispered back. "It was love. Complicated, slightly illegal love, but love nonetheless." After the ceremony, as we gathered for photos, Tyler pulled me aside. "Remember what you said when you first found me in that apartment, about trust and responsibility?" I nodded. "You were right, but not in the way you meant to be." He gestured around at the celebrating graduates, at his students from the community center, at the new Redemption Scholars. "You trusted me to find my way back. Even when your plan was about revenge, some part of you trusted that I could be better." "And the responsibility part?" "Turns out teaching others about responsibility taught me more than losing everything did." He straightened his cap. "Ready to go change more lives?" I slipped on the new ring, smaller than the old one, but somehow meaning more. "Lead the way, Professor." As we walked toward the reception, where Professor Brown was already discussing next semester's programs with Maria, I realized that sometimes the best revenge isn't about getting even. Sometimes it's about getting better and helping others do the same. Tyler bumped my shoulder. "Race you to the cake?" Just like that, we were kids again. Running, laughing, scheming, but this time for all the right reasons.